you join us Saturday 23rd, Stanley Ferry. And this is an unusual thing to be doing, boys and girls. Now it's because Melvin isn't sure that his boat is reversing as easily as he would like, and that's probably just down to experience. So when we came down here, he overshot the visitor moorings, which was here, turned around and came back. So I'm dropping him down just before the bridge, then went on time, and he can go round the island and not have to worry about reversing. That's the theory. What could possibly go wrong? It's actually going all right so far. So when I get up near the bridge, well on time, and then he can just sail himself around island. 4 days to go on this great trip. Wow. And we're doing like proper boaty things. Yeah. And as if by magic, look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Well, the sun's gone in, but it's not raining, so we should have a reasonably good day. Today we're going to get down to somewhere near Whitley, because you can't moor apparently after Pollington. So first we'll be going down through the last of the locks on the Calder and Hebble, through to Castleford, and then on to Ferrybridge. Hooray! First lock of the day down. Had a bit of sunshine ahead. That's what we like. So it's and there's three, might be three locks on this stretch. I think the next one's King's, then there's one by Fairies Hill. I can't remember. I've only been doing this particular stretch for about 14 years, so I haven't quite remembered yet. Mind you, I'm like that coming out of Sheffield. Do you think they're related? So into the Colossal Lock territory. We're picking Charlotte up after this and then whizzing down to Castleford, which we're hoping won't be clear, because there's not really any floods, and Castleford is mainly a flood lock. But you do realise that you're only a little boat when you're in a lock this size. Fishermen on the lock stage again. boy, would Sue love to have a boat like that. That's definitely busy today. I don't know where they're going. You're going the wrong way. And we got another one coming. I think that one that's going down there, I recognise that, I think, from Bramwith. So anyway, that's Pollington Lock over and done with. Now we've got pretty much a clear run to Ferry Bridge. Where are we, Marley? Fuck me, there's loads. What's going on today? We've got two coming at us, two behind us, another one ready to go into lock. It's about the busiest I've ever known, this. Now, it should all fit in the lock together. Look at that pickle. This is the stretch between Pollington and Ferry Bridge, and it's one of my favourite stretches on this particular part of the River Aire. And back there is Melvin somewhere. I hope he doesn't think we're trying to leave him behind. I shouldn't think he knows. I should think he knows we're not. But I wanted to thrash the engine because that tweeting was doing my fucking nut in. And I think once it all warms up and everything, it's fine. But I do think there's work to do when we get back. I do also think that the old girl's done bloody well. I'm fairly sure that alternator's the one that came with it, so I'm not overly concerned that we're going to need to replace it. But I think one of the other pulleys in there, or bearings, might need some attention as well. But that's all right. Precautionary maintenance, etc. We made quite a good time, boys and girls. This is the remains of Ferry Bridge Power Station that we're coming up to, and I'd always wanted to sail through the bit that the Tom Puddings would have been pulled through and then unloaded. And last time we came up here, there was a potential to do that. There was a small boat doing an inspection, so it was a clear passage. I'm not sure now that that is a clear passage any longer, which is a shame, because I'd have been up for it. It's definitely not navigable now. Such a shame. That would have been a bit of an adventure. Ferry Bridge floodlock, and the last surviving 3 of the cooling towers. So this is Nottingley, which again is a bit run down because the sole focus of employment used to be Kellingley Colliery and Ferry Bridge Power Station. I've always thought this is a missed opportunity along here. We could have had some lovely moorings along there, all the way along. I know Canal and River Trust wouldn't like it because they don't like online moorings, but it would have added. This is it can't be denied, this is a rundown area and a fairly sort of forgotten and deprived area now. It's really quite sad to see, but there could have been some lovely online moorings all the way along here, which would have just aesthetically improved the area. It just would have been nicer. Now, this is a nice new addition. How lovely is that? Not really a mooring, I suppose, but it's certainly a lot nicer than last time we came through. I think we moored just down here where there's a pub that said did food and didn't do food or something, can't remember, but we went in and put some money over the bar just the same. There's always a few interesting boats here, that's one of them. So this is where we would turn off if we were going up towards Selby. I've now got to try and get Charlotte and Marley on. Some of these look like the Waddingtons. That's a floating... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, hang on, I'm going to have to pick Charlotte up. Wonder how much the other half is.
That's what I was thinking.
There's always some very interesting boats here, as I said, coming through. I sort of like that, but it's completely impractical because it wouldn't go under any of the bridges. Make a nice little 2-storey house, or 3-storey actually. You got 1, 2, 3, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. And it looks like back there they've built a floating dry dock. This is what I was about to say before picking you up. And a couple of commercial barges. So next is where the Kellingley Colliery used to be. As I always say, when we first started, interesting, boat driving tuition, eh? Oh, if only that was available when we first started. Yeah, Kellingley Colliery. When we first started coming down this stretch, up and down this stretch actually, there was loads of these like floating skips known as Tom Puddings, which will be loaded with coal from the colliery and then dragged all the way up here and where we've come from, all the way up to the power station. There was dozens and dozens of them. Now it's all level to the ground, but just past there is a different sort of power station. Just past there is a huge expanse laid out in the fields of solar panels. This is really, really strange. The times we've been down here and now it's completely flattened. There used to be a big sign there somewhere saying, tomorrow's energy today. How wrong that was. And I think this was pretty much the last of the mines in the area to shut. This Colossal used to have buildings here and then I think going down there and wow. And all along here is where all the Tom Puddings were moored. Was that about 14 years ago? Maybe more. 14, 15 odd years ago when we first came down here. Years ago, yes. I know some friends urbexed it after it shut down. Martin was one of them. Did a last final tribute urbex of it, and it was pretty grim. Now, what you can't see, if I remember, I'll do the Google, you know, the Google Earth thing, or Google aerial view. On the other side of the fields, or on the other side of the canal here, over on the other side of the trees and stuff, that's what I wanted to say. There are fields and fields and fields just full of solar panels, as I mentioned a little while ago. Just about catch a glimpse of them. Absolutely colossal solar farm. That, boys and girls, really is tomorrow's energy today. And that dirty fossil fuel that prematurely shortens the life of the people who gather the fuel. The mining industry was dirty, dangerous. I'm gonna have to get the aerial photo shot of all that lot over there. It's absolutely astonishing, wonderful, beautiful to see. And then of course some people will say, oh yes, but they should be growing food in them foods, or field in them foods, should be growing there. Put the aerial shot up and shut up. It's a bit of a beast, isn't it? Imagine the cost of licensing and running one of those. Fun thing to have though. I once had to drive out here with a spare fridge because the hirers, the male of this couple, supposedly had been a auto electrician but couldn't work out what a blown fuse was, so they called me and said the fridge is broken. I said, have you tried changing the fuse? Was it the fridge? It was the fridge, wasn't it? And he said, oh yeah. So I came out, and the first thing I noticed was the fuse had broken. It was another time where we thought the fridge had broken, and that was up Manchester way, wasn't it? What was that? Where we mod?
Plank Lane, wasn't it?
Plank Lane. You're headed toward the edge. Plank Lane. So we drove a fridge out there, and swapped it for a new fridge. We put a new fridge in, which is the fridge that's in here at the moment, actually. We plugged a new fridge in. That didn't work either. What was that? Was that a fuse?
Yeah, but it was not. It hadn't totally blown. It had slightly blown.
Yeah, something like that. So we just left the new fridge in.
Well, the new fridge that time.
Yeah, I just said that. I just said we put a new fridge in. It didn't work. This is over here on the left now. This is new. This is we think it's a flour processing, yeah, or flour storage. Sorry, that's better. Let's see what we're doing. A flour mill, whatever. I don't know if behind here they've kept the old building as well. The old building was really quite pretty. And this massive thing, this is all new in the last couple of years. I think the old building was there. It looks like they may have knocked that down to build this. Or have they? Yeah, it's gone. It looked like a 1930s, still the same, you know, it's still a flour mill. You could tell by the fact that it didn't have many windows in it. It wasn't an office block. So if, as we're not mooring back there, where we'd normally have moored, need to work out now whether we're going to moor at Whitley, which is literally just around the corner. That's Melvin there, by the way, and there's another boat that we came through the lock with behind. Charlotte thinks Whitley's nicer place to moor than Pollington. She's probably right, I can't remember, obviously. So we need to decide whether we're going to moor there or push on to New Junction. Well, whoops, sorry, hang on, let's zoom out a little bit. Whitley to New Junction is a good couple of hours. It's 2:30 now, so 3:30, 4:30. We could do it, whether or not we want to. Whoops. It's a couple of hours, that 2 hours. So we need to make that decision. So I think what we'll do, we'll slow down a little bit to get into Pollington, into Whitley, and we'll see what Melvin wants to do behind. This is the Crt Work Yard. That's a pair of lock gates, by the way, in case you hadn't recognised them. And a lot of the lock gates that are made up at Stanley Ferry will come via here out to wherever they're going to be installed. The thing with some of those lock gates is they can only be transported by canal, and if you look at those ones there, they're just far too big to go by road. So the new ones, the old ones, sometimes they'll just cut them down. I'm not sure where those ones will be from, but large nonetheless. There was some new ones being built at Stanley Ferry, I noticed this morning, which again were bloody huge. Normally your lock gates are going to be, even on your broad canals, each lock gate, because there's two at each end obviously, each one will be about 7 foot, 8 foot wide-ish. So those on that back there, a bit bigger than that. The ones that were at Stanley Ferry this morning, a bit bigger than that. And also here they have the piling equipment. It's not in at the moment, which are used to put these in. These big sort of corrugated iron things, and this is the stack of them here, and it will give you an idea how far they drive them down. So if you imagine this is what's protruding above the water line, and then that is how long they are, so they go down a fair way. Every day's a school day, boys and girls. And then just down here is it's a little marina tucked away in the side there. I'm not going to go too fast past it, because every time you go fast past an entrance to a marina or an arm, you throw the water in and it disturbs all the boats in there exponentially. Oh, bleeding hell, it's cold.